Hello everyone, this is Developer Diaries, and we have our first very special guest, Shruti, who is a YouTuber, mentor, full stack web developer, a mom, and a wife. So hello Shruti, how are you?
I'm doing great, Sima. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. So can you tell us about your stories, what difficulties you faced?
Yeah, definitely. First of all, I'm very thankful to be here. I'm really thankful to Seema for starting some such initiative where women in tech are recognized, because this is really important in today's world. Like you see, so many women are stepping up now and they're able to do so much more than before. And they need support at this moment, and I think it's the right initiative. So I really appreciate you for that, and very
Thank
glad to
you.
be your first guest. I'm really honored, I should say. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I want to introduce myself some more. I'm from Bangalore, India, and I'm in this industry for almost a decade now. Yeah, that feels a little old, but so this I to be honest, I never knew this is where I will be 10 years before. If you had asked me, where do you see yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I definitely didn't imagine this. I didn't know I would be labeled a woman in tech. That's a huge thing today, but this was
Yeah.
something I had no clue of back then. So my first introduction to technology, or coding, if I should say, was in my 8th grade, where I was introduced Java. That was the first programming language I was introduced. So if you're into coding, you must know that Java is one of the difficult ones, correct? These
Yeah.
days, Python is a lot more easy, and it's easier to pick up, to grasp. But we were introduced to Java in school right away, and none of my classmates had a clue what's happening. The teacher had half clue maybe. So in a class of 30, it was just me and one other student who was able to understand what is even happening, what exactly is a programming language, what exactly does it do, what are for loops, what is a while loop, how are you giving commands, and things like that. So that's when I understood, okay, this is great, this is challenging, and I could see that I am more capable in this field. Okay, I was never into sports or any extracurricular activities, so I always kept feeling a little low about myself, that I'm not good at anything. I have been an introvert. I am a speaker as well, but yes, I am an introvert. So I was not good at any of those activities which involved, stage or debates or anything, even dance, singing. I was nowhere. I was a nerd or a geek. That's what I was called in school. So I didn't know where I would fit in. I had no idea what my future would look like. But at this point, when I was introduced Java and I really felt I was great at it, I felt good. I thought, okay, so there's something I am good at. But after 10th, it was lost. I didn't really pursue it or continue it, because I had no idea what this field is, or how much value it holds, or what is the future value that will be there. Nobody really told me that. So I took up electronics and communication in my 11th and 12th standard. So no, again, no computer science for 2 years. After which if you know CET is a exam that is in Karnataka, which is for engineering colleges, right? So which is a
Okay.
state-wise the board. I mean, whatever. So I even wrote IIT JEE, and I couldn't clear the mains, but almost got selected to the extended merit list, and I was about to even get into NIT Surathkal, but I didn't want to leave Bangalore. You see, I was very
Yeah.
homesick, very attached to my parents, because I'm the only daughter, and I said no, I'm not going anywhere for 4 years. Impossible. So let me select a college right here in Bangalore, and RV College of Engineering is the number one college here in Bangalore, where I got a merit. I got into information science, because a lot of people told me that this has scope. That's what we look at, right? We have no clue what it is.
Yeah.
And then I got into engineering. I was happy with the subjects. It was easy going. I liked it and I kept going. I still had no clue that this is what my future will look like, or this is what a job or my career would look like. Then came third year engineering, where companies started, coming for internships. The first company that came for internship was Microsoft, and they said we are taking students for internship for 3 months, and that is going to be in Hyderabad. And I said again, I don't think I'll be going to Hyderabad. All my friends were like, "Are you crazy? This is an opportunity." I mean, first of all,
Yeah.
we might not even get selected, right? And I was not even wanting to, appear for the exam, if you can believe. Microsoft is a company where a lot of students crave to get into. And I said, okay, let me give it a shot. Since I have no clue if I'll get selected, there are very less chances. Let me give it a shot. And I wrote the written test. I got cleared. Out of 120 students, only 25 could clear the written test. I cleared it. And then came in the interview rounds. I cleared the first round. I cleared the second round. And after third round, I don't know. That they just said, we'll let you know the results. And I said, okay, I have no clue because the interviews were tough. I said, okay, let's cross our fingers. I went back home. Next day, I reached college and everyone's talking about me, because I was the only student in my branch, information science, to have got selected for the 3 month internship offered by Microsoft. So that was the turning point of
That's
my life,
great.
I should say. It was the most unexpected turning point of my life. But as they say, universe probably leads you to the destination step by step,
Yeah.
whether you
Yeah.
want it or not. So maybe that's what happened in my case. That's when I went to Hyderabad for 3 months, and that was the most amazing 3 months of experience. I got mentored by some of the amazing people. The campus of Microsoft is, oh my god, it's better than a five-star hotel. So there's everything possible, all the luxuries you can imagine. And we had fun, really. Learned a lot and had fun. That's when I understood, okay, this is how a career in tech is going to look like, and I'm in for it. That's all I'm going to do. And then when real placements came, I attended a couple of companies, and which is when I got selected to Citrix R&D in Bangalore, which offered me a pay package of almost 8.8 lakh per annum. Remember, that was 9 years ago. So 9 years ago, and almost 9 lakh per annum was a big package. That was almost the second, largest in the city. That's the highest,
Mm.
almost highest. So I was amazed at it. I took up the job. I was a quality analyst. But as I went into the job, I realized this is all great, but somehow quality analyst, that's not something I felt fits my, whatever. That's not my passion. Side by side, what happened was
Yeah.
I found a mentor who helped me develop a lot of other skills that were really required in my life. So whatever I am today, a lot of it goes to credit goes to my mentor. And he said, I want to work on a web app. Will you be ready to build the technology part of it? I mean, I have an idea. I said, great, I would love to. I don't know much. I almost know nothing, but I'm ready to try. And that was something I got into. So what used to happen was morning, almost I think 9:30 to 6:30, I would be at my job and come back home, relax a little, have dinner, and probably 8:30 until even 3 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I would go on working on the web app. So that's when I started learning, the front end, the back end, and all of the things that get involved in building a web app. And just that kept going on for like 6 to 8 months. And I realized, I think this is my passion. I used to wait to get back home and start working. I used to wait for weekends to work on this website or anything web design, web development, which is when I realized, okay, this is truly my passion. It's time to take a decision. And just 9 months into a high paying job, I quit the job. I decided I'll sign my papers and I'm going to get into my passion full time. So from 9 lakhs to zero income, that's what I
Yeah.
took the hard decision. And I just resigned and started my journey. And then a lot of things happened. I built a lot of websites, many blogs. Today, if you can look up to, if you can, go to iuemag.com, which is Inspiration Unlimited e-magazine. It's one of the top e-magazines that give only inspirational content, because today we see a lot of negative news. News means negative
Yeah.
is what comes to our mind, right? So this is the
Yeah.
e-magazine which I have been the chief developer of. So you can take a look at that. I built that and so many other websites for clients, and it went on. And then I realized, actually, to be honest, I didn't know I was called a full stack developer either. I knew how to build the stuff, but I didn't know this is the name given to it. I someday randomly realized, and I said, okay, let me put it up on my profile. I'm now a full stack web developer, apparently. But I could, build the stuff. So that's how it went on. And then I became a mother of a child, so I took a break for a while. And even now I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I take care of my child morning till night. And in between few minutes that I'll be able to steal from him. So which is when I do all the other stuff that I do. And mostly when he sleeps is when he's 3 years old right now. So that's the amount of
Yeah.
time I get to do all the stuff that Seema just mentioned, saying I'm a YouTuber, and I'm a new YouTuber actually. And I did
Yeah.
freelancing also. For a while, I took up a lot of freelancing projects. I do consult startups even today. A few startups, I tell them what technologies to use, and advise them of what kind of web apps can help their current situation and things like that. So I guess I've given a brief introduction. And over to you, Seema.
Yeah. Yeah, your story is really inspiring for all of us. And yeah, I will just ask you a few questions.
For sure.
So, the first question is, when and why do you think of becoming a full stack web developer?
Okay, that's a great question. So, like I said, I didn't think of becoming that. That was not my
Yeah.
plan. I didn't know what it means. I didn't even come across the word until maybe 5 years I was into it. So it was the idea that my mentor gave, and he said, let's do it. I think you have the capacity in you to learn on your own and do something. I did a lot of mistakes. I hardly took care of security in the back end, so a lot of hacking happened. I didn't even know what is happening around. Many things like that. Front end, my first website, I don't even want to look at it today. In fact, my first so many of designs, I don't want to look back at them because they were really, really bad. Nothing of UI, nothing of UX. Whatever came to my mind, I was putting it. So I'm very thankful to my team that they really loved it at that point of time. So that was the encouragement provided. Slowly I kept
Yeah.
improving. And so though I didn't take the decision of becoming a full stack web developer, but this decision came by just jumping in and saying, okay, I'm ready to take this chance. Let's work on this. And what's the max that can happen? We'll fail at it. The web app might not work, but it'll anyway not
Yeah.
work if I don't work on it, right? So it doesn't matter. That's how I took the decision, and I just jumped into it 9 years ago. Yeah.
That's great. So, what were your plans after graduation?
Yeah. Right after graduation, as a fresher, I got into Citrix. And
Yeah.
I didn't really think much at that point of time. I said, let's see how this goes. And I almost thought I will be working, same the way anybody else does. 3 years into a company, and then move to a better company, better position, get a promotion, and then shift again after 3 years. And but I knew I'll be in Bangalore. That is one thing you should remember. I thought this is
Yeah.
what my journey would look like, but I realized this doesn't fit me. I'm not into this. I cannot do a job because it's different for each person. Some people really love their
Yeah.
jobs, and I appreciate them if they can really do that. But the whole 9:30 to 6:30 is not me. If you give me the reverse, maybe 6:30 to 9:30 in the morning, I'll be more happy. But that's about me. I like flexible timings. I like to work on some ideas and of my own. I feel I need some ownership. So which is what happened. So slowly that's what shaped up. Yeah.
I think YouTube really helps on that.
So I couldn't hear you. What?
YouTube really helps on that. You are the owner of your own work. You can do anything you want. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So, can you tell me about your interview experience and how can students prepare for that?
Okay. One sad thing or one unfortunate thing is I think most students know it right now that your job is something else, but your interview is something else altogether.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
mostly tested on your core algorithm skills. Not a lot of it is really used in the job, but these companies are looking at something that not all companies do this. So what happens is companies like Microsoft, like I mentioned, and Citrix, these or Google or Yahoo, any of those for that matter, they have a particular technique in mind. They have a way of testing. But maybe a lot of other companies just copy the questions from there and start asking. They don't really test the students. So in Microsoft, what happened was my first interview round. I was given a problem, something related to coordinate geometry. I can't recall what the question was. Maybe some two dots and there's a line given two more coordinates. How do you know if that line is crossing this line or not? Something like that. So I loved coordinate geometry. So I was actually, I think lucky to get that question in my first ever interview of my life. So I said, okay, I think I can do this, but which language should I write the program in? And the interviewer was like, nothing. You don't have to think about a language. It's just an algorithm. I want to see how you think. So you can use a
Hmm.
paper. You can even think aloud. Aloud. You tell me what is going on in your mind. I said, okay, that's interesting. And I started writing something. And I said, okay, this is what I'm thinking. If this has to be achieved, maybe this is how to proceed. He said, that's right. So let me go another step. I'll increase the complexity by one more thing. And I don't remember what that was. But he said something, and I was able to solve that as well. And then I said, this is also great. Let me add one more level of complexity. So, the thing is, they are not really testing whether it's it's a pass or a fail, or whether you get the answer or not. They're really checking what your thought process is. How do you approach
Yeah.
problem solving? You know,
Hmm.
so even if you're not able to get the answer, don't freak out at the interview. Tell the person that this part of it you're able to understand, and this part you might need help. And if you're in the real job, Google is always there. We always have a lot of resources. So if somebody
Yeah.
asks you, what is the syntax for a for loop, that would be stupid because you can always look it up in a minute on the internet. Okay, it's not about the
Yes.
syntax, it's not about any of that. It's about how your mind runs at problem solving mostly. So don't so the way to approach this is not by mugging up all the DSA. No, don't mug up linked lists and binary tree algorithm. None of that. Okay, so just understand how it works. That is most important. And then when they ask you questions, you explain to the interviewer that, see, this is what I'm thinking. And if that company is able to understand your potential, they will surely take you. If the company is not able to understand, that means you have not failed. You should actually be thankful that you didn't get into the company which doesn't understand your potential, right? So you're better off somewhere
Yeah.
else. You're better fit in another place which really gets you, which can use what your intellect is, correct? So that's
Yeah.
something I would like to share. This was my interview experience pretty much in all the companies. I think NetApp or somewhere. I didn't clear that interview. I think I was more glad actually that way.
Absolutely. I always give advice to students that you shouldn't mug up all the things. You should be able to understand what things are going on. Yeah. So that's a great advice. So yeah, difficulties in your journey.
So this would probably take 2 hours. So there have been a lot of challenges all throughout the journey, which you look into anybody's success journey. It's pretty much the same.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So, starting from the time when I said I want to quit my job and continue my passion, a lot of people around me said, "Are you crazy? Do you even know the value of the job that you have right now?" A lot of people are even waiting for one fourth the amount of salary, and after a lot of years of experience, you got into it as a fresher. So you have to value it and continue. Why are you leaving it, and that too so early? Be there for a couple more
Yeah.
years or take some more experience and then start off. Multiple advices I got. So these people who advise, they're not wrong at all. They are taking the generic way. That's how a lot of other people do. But you really need to know where you stand, what is your capacity, and what really fits you. You can't blindly listen to anybody. You will have to listen to yourself.
Yeah.
You'll have to see where you stand. That was the first hurdle I faced, but I said no. I really know what I'm doing, and according to me, there is no reason to regret any decision. So if you've taken a decision at that point, there was something really that you were thinking. So after three
Yeah.
months, if you feel that was a wrong decision, you'll have to go back to that mindset of 3 months ago. There was a spark, there was something else that you thought of at that moment,
Yes.
right? Go back to that feeling and you'll never want to give up. You will want to just continue in the direction that you're going because there was a reason you took that decision. So I don't regret a single decision of mine. That's one mantra I follow. So now that it's happened, you can't go back to your past and change the decision, can you? So why waste a few minutes or hours or days of your life regretting something that's already happened? Continue in the
Yeah.
direction, move forward, and you'll see for yourself why that happened. You can look back and then say, okay, I was really right. You will face difficulties on your way. That's bound to happen. So yeah, so this is what I'd like to say, and a lot of other juggling or managing which has been happening in the last 3 years. Every now and then it's like a decision that you take. Can I take a target? Can I really take a deadline and fulfill it? Will my time allow me to do that? And will my responsibility right now as a mother allow me to do that? There are a lot of hurdles like that you face, but you know you can only do your best, and once you've given your best, you don't have to think much about it. It's life will show itself up, and you'll know where you're going. That's what I
Yeah.
believe.
Absolutely. I have some of the same thinking that you shouldn't regret anything that you did or thought of doing that. So yeah.
Correct.
So
Great.
you are a wife, mom, developer, and now a YouTuber. So how do you manage all that?
Yeah, so I don't have a step by step. Okay, first step you do this, second step you do this. This is how you manage, because really that doesn't work. Okay,
Yeah.
especially as a mother, that doesn't work. The day you
Yeah.
think, oh my God, since morning my child has been so kind, so nice, and well behaved. The very next second he's throwing a tantrum out there. Right, which you might have to deal with for I don't know how many minutes. So it's very unpredictable. The last 3 years I've
Yeah.
realized that this is the most unpredictable journey anyone can go through. That is motherhood. Okay, you
Yeah.
cannot imagine when when the kid suddenly is hungry. Is he hungry? Is he tired? Is he sleepy? Is he bored? You have absolutely no clue. So you'll have to be there almost all the time. So that is naturally my first priority. My family is my first
Yeah.
priority. And then I have an understanding that on an average how many hours I can give to my work. So I don't take up any work which has to be done like within a day. So if somebody tells me I need this, to be done in 24 hours, I'd say I'm not sure. It may happen, it may not happen because this is my situation. So I
Yeah.
knowing of how much is possible and how much is not possible practically. once you
Yeah.
know a range, once you have an idea of this is how much is possible, you will calculatively take up that much amount of work. So that's how I've been doing it. And mostly morning 7:30 until 9:30 in the night. It's mostly my son is my first priority. Like I mentioned, in between the few moments that I get when he's playing with his grandparents or his father or his maternal grandparents, anything like that, that's when I say, okay, I was supposed to do that work, let me just quickly open my laptop and finish that. And immediately he walks in the door saying, Amma, I want something. So I like close the laptop. So it's just that I might get 5 minutes, I might get an hour, I have no idea. Once he sleeps at 9:30
Okay.
maybe, I go on up to 12 o'clock in the night and complete whatever I'm able to do. Right now, I'm able to do 2 videos per a week on YouTube and a few minutes like these with people like Seema who are doing a great job. I'll be able to steal some time like this and appear live or maybe give a talk somewhere. That's how I have been managing, but I definitely don't have a fixed schedule, which at this point of time, that's what I want to say.
Okay. So can you tell us about your YouTube channel?
Yes, so very recently, as recent as 2 months ago, I started this YouTube channel, Thyrus. If you're wondering
Yeah.
what name is Thyrus, it's just, jumble up the spelling of my name and you get Thyrus. It just sounded really
Yeah.
awesome, so I took up, the name. But it's right now a YouTube channel alone, but in future I have a lot of plans for having coding contests and making it into a community or many things. Currently I've started that as just a YouTube channel with web development tips and tutorials. So what happened was during my journey of self learning, there were many things I missed. I didn't know a holistic, I knew how to build a complete web app, but there were many loopholes in between. And using this YouTube channel, I'm trying to cover up those small things that developers miss on their journey, especially while learning on their own, or maybe some tips that can really boost their productivity, some concepts which many people find difficult to understand, and things like that. So most of my videos, I try to keep them within 5 minutes. Oh, max it can go up to 10 to 12 minutes. That's my idea right now. And along with the YouTube channel with just videos, I'll be hosting webinars almost every Tuesday, hopefully. My first webinar was on Google Meet, which went pretty successful. But the next one onwards will be on YouTube Live, so you can look forward to that. And in case you miss, you can watch the recording. That's the plan for the
Yeah.
future. I'll be covering a lot of web development stuff, more both front end, back end, and mostly for the people beginning in their journey. Maybe going deeper, I'll be taking up concepts of Laravel and other things as well. So that's the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Thyrus, Thirus. I think that's there in the description below, right? Seema has
Yeah, it's
linked
in the
it.
description.
Yeah, so do check that and subscribe to it so you'll get two
Absolutely.
videos per week and you'll not miss that. And if you have not subscribed to
Yeah.
Seema's channel, this is the time. Hit it right now.
Yeah, so we have a question from Dheeraj.
Yeah.
So, how to stay motivated on a particular project? Say, I start a project, I research about it, I plan it out, I start working on it. As long as I have the momentum, I work, but then slowly the excitement goes away. How to recreate the momentum?
Okay, Dheeraj, you're not alone at all. This happens to me with almost every single project. Even Seema is agreeing right now,
Yeah,
right? So the
yeah,
moment that
yeah.
idea comes into your mind, you feel, wow, I got the $1 million idea. This is it, So at that moment, you are only thinking about the best parts about the project, or
Yeah,
only the good things come to your mind. You're excited, you're at that state where you can only see the good, and challenges also seem pretty nice to work on. But as you go deeper into the project is when you realize the minute details, the smallest of the things. That's when doubts start creeping up in your mind, that will this really
mm,
work? Is this even gonna help me in any way? Am I wasting time? is this really the project or should I take up something else? All of these are very, very natural. Okay. So the moment you get an
Yeah.
idea, I would suggest the moment you start on any project, tell it to a lot of people that this is what I'm working on. Or at least some of your friends whom you can be accountable to. I call them accountability partners. Okay. So have an accountability partner whom you can share the idea with and say, this is what I'm coming up with, and I will complete this within a week, within a month, within 3 months, or anything. Even give them the deadline. And also set a target for yourself. Let's say the moment I finish this, I'll do something. I'll buy something for myself, or I'll take a
Yeah.
vacation. Right now, COVID situation, vacation is not possible, but that's generally my targets. Or a half day trip to half day break or something like that. But current situation, taking care of that, you can set a reward for yourself. That those
Yeah.
small things will keep you in line with the project. But most important thing to remember is every great project that is successful today has gone through this curve, and they came
Yeah.
out of it only because they stuck to it. They just went till the finish line no matter what. And even after the finish line, versions after versions after versions of projects, you know that software development or web development never ends. There is no final product, there is no finished product.
Yeah.
It just keeps going on. That's what I would like to say. I hope I answered your question, Dheeraj.
So I really apply this, like rewarding myself when I have my exams in BTech. So in my second year, I used to be like, if I finish this unit, so I'll just buy some food or some chocolates like that. So it
Always
keeps
work.
us motivated. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Thank you, Dheeraj, for your question.
Yeah, thanks, Dheeraj. That was a good one.
Yeah. So if anyone has any question, you can drop the question in the comment.
So one good news, I don't know if I should be announcing it right here, that just today I tested COVID negative. I took up the test and
Yeah.
it turned out negative.
Yeah.
So I'm currently happy about that. I'm really excited, and I'm sharing it live.
Yeah, it's good. I
Because the
felt
whole
so
world is
good that I heard that.
yeah. So the whole world is in a very crazy situation right now. I wouldn't say bad.
Yeah.
It's just very challenging for everyone. And this is the time I think self learning comes to our rescue. Just imagine if
Yeah.
this had happened, if the COVID thing had happened 20 years ago or something. It would have been madness without this much access to knowledge, and
Yeah.
this much access to internet, and these many course creators and YouTubers, and everybody's wanting to share their knowledge today via blogs and videos, and so much is happening, and a lot of exchange of knowledge is happening right from everybody's houses. So I create videos from my house and somebody else is consuming from their home. This is the best era to be in, according to me.
So, can you talk about passwordless authentication? What are the different methods we can use?
Okay, you mean email and password instead of that? What else we can use? I'm assuming, right? I would want to know why you are asking this question, or is there a particular app that you are, building where you want to avoid passwords, and why? Why would you want to avoid that? Let's wait for his answer. That's not a problem. Because
Yeah,
today,
until
as
then,
we yeah,
yes.
okay. He just says yes. So maybe his point is that using passwords, if somebody else gets hold of your password or somehow it can be discovered, then it's not as secure as some other method of authentication maybe. So today, if we see most apps or most websites still use this as the primary way of authentication, but slowly we are moving into OTPs. That's the very
Yeah.
next thing I can talk about. Both mobile and email, authentication. Just send an OTP, and that's also becoming very easy. You don't have to remember a password. You just have to have your mobile handy. But it has its own problems, right? It has its own limitations. Let's say you're suddenly in another country which where you cannot receive an SMS, or you don't have your mobile, you've just lost your mobile, something like that. It's a problem. Password would probably be the safest way to go. So I would suggest, the way a lot of companies are going today, the bigger ones, you watch what they are doing, you understand what's the best way to go about it. So use a password. Suppose you want to log in through OTP, you can take that option. So, you forgot password, or you want to take a choice that, no, this time I want to log in using OTP because maybe I forgot my password, or maybe I'm attempting and I'm not able to remember. So that's an alternative method you can always choose. And, maybe some other method using mobile itself will be other options. So these are the two, major ones at this point of time. So Dheeraj is saying there are a lot of situations where we do not need user to create a full-fledged account, but we just need uniqueness. So yeah, that's when, if that's the case, maybe, but what is the security if not for password? How do you identify that this is the person trying to log into his own account and not somebody else, right? So there could be some unique ID, but that's again, that's something like a password itself, right? So the only other way is probably to verify you through your email or through your mobile number, right? So that's my opinion. You have anything to say, add to this, Seema?
No, I don't have much knowledge on this.
Yeah. So he's saying, can we just store a cookie on client side, or maybe grab the IP address of the user? Not a good idea, because someone like me, I keep clearing cookies every now and then. What do you do then? And I might use different devices to log in from. IP address is not, doesn't work then. If I'm using the same device, same connection all the time, then maybe, but you can't really depend on that, right? So yeah, here we have someone say, yeah, HappyWise uses passkey for one-time authentication. Yes, I forgot that this is what I implemented, for a previous company that I, just advised them on. So HappyWise is this financial, a company that is into financial advising, where we wanted users to answer a particular set of questionnaire. And like Dheeraj said, you don't need a password for that. You don't need to create an account. So at the back end, we created passkeys, and we sent it to the user by giving their email ID and name. And the system generates the passkey, which is a very simple 8-digit numbers or something like that. And that is sent to the user by the admin or whoever is asking them to fill up the questionnaire. The user enters the passkey and he's authenticated. So since it's a one-time thing, it works. If it's one-time, Dheeraj, then you could use this feature. I hope that helps. Yeah, say I want to include anonymous polling, but I don't want the user to vote again and again. You could use social media login in this case.
Yeah.
Login via Twitter, login via Facebook, LinkedIn. Of course, if they have multiple email addresses, that can be done anyway. Even if you're use email ID password authentication, they can have multiple email IDs and vote. So social media login can be done even if they have 3 accounts. That's the max you can have, right? Unless you're really insane. So that might work.
So Kunal Jain is asking, do you have a course online?
Yes, so I am a course creator, and I have this course for absolute beginners who want to learn HTML and CSS, because that's the basic thing you need to know if you want to get into web development. No matter what,
Yeah.
which platform you want to use later, you have to start with HTML and CSS. And today there are so many resources online that you get overwhelmed of which concept to learn first, how much to know, how do I know that I know enough now, when
Yeah.
can I build a website? how long does it take to build my first website? Do I need to know this concept also, and this also, and this? There are courses which are 30 hours long as well for web development, but that much is not needed. And if you take up a 30-hour course, I don't think you'll be able to build your first website, because you'll be overwhelmed. That's not how
Yeah,
much knowledge you can, that's not how much you can consume and then start working on it. So I have created this course, which I can say is the least amount of things you need to know to start building your first website. Start with that. Build your first website, host it live, share it with everyone, and then you will have confidence to learn more. Okay, that's get the first website absolutely working with this much knowledge. So I have this 4.5 hour course on Udemy. So you can search Shruti Balasa on Udemy and you will find the course. I think if somebody is absolutely new and you want to get a strong foundation on HTML and CSS, this is the course you need to take. And within 4.5 hours of the course, you will be able to build a website and host it live as well.
that's great.
Thank you, Kunal sir, for asking this. Do we have any more questions? We have someone asking, are you writing a book? So maybe not a physical one, but definitely something like ebooks, and I would be creating a lot more courses. And someday, yeah, maybe a book also, but that's not on the plan right now. Content creation online is what I will be into for quite some time from now.
That's good. So I guess that's it. So thank you, Shruti, for coming, and it was really great knowing your stories. And many people will get inspired by your stories. And thank you so much.
I hope so too. I really hope to inspire a lot of women. It's not that I don't want men to succeed. No, definitely not. Because we as women, we know the amount of support, especially in Indian society. It's even more difficult
Yeah,
to get the support for career. We might get support for improving cooking maybe, and we might get support if we say I want to get into baking. They'd be like, wow, bake some cakes. And
yeah,
maybe stitching or something art, something creative. That's where women are pushed into. Yes, for a lot of years, that's what we were good at. But now things are changing. Someone like Seema, who's she calls herself the bash woman, right? So she is so amazing at what she does at such a young age, and she needs a lot of support in this direction. A lot of people like her. She has faced a lot of difficulties in her journey. I'm sure someday
yeah.
I will be on your side, Seema, and I want to interview you, so I want to know your story that time. So women need a lot of support to in women in tech, especially because many people think that this is not their field, especially technology, or when it comes to driving, when it comes to things which men have been doing all these years. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
insecurity or what. There are some people who don't end up supporting, but I really know a lot of people who do support, a lot of men who are supportive. So I really am
Yes.
thankful to those people. Some of them are right here in the watching this live right now, so please continue doing that. And I
Yeah.
really love being here. Let's see what the future holds for all of us, and hopefully
Yes.
we'll all meet live someday and not YouTube live.
Yeah.
Thank you, Siva. Thank you for inviting me. I was
Thank
very
you.
happy sharing my journey.
Thank you.